There we are.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. Okay, listen. So I don't know if you know, but we have some new fragrances from Taylor SoapWorks, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Taylor SoapWorks.
You should know about them
I can
because
smell it from here.
their stuff it smells so good,
Oh
you
my
guys.
God. It smells like a man.
That's right. There are man fragrances just for Father's Day right now. And did you know that using the Gunfighter bar soap and the Outlaw beard balm and the Desperado shampoo bars will raise your IQ, guarantee success with the opposite sex, and cure cancer? Did you know that?
You can't say any of those. You're not allowed to say any of those things. You're not.
Am I not?
You're
Okay.
not.
All
You're
right. Well,
saying
maybe
them,
that
but you're not allowed to say anything that you just said. You're not.
maybe that was
those.
going a little bit overboard.
Say some of the other things that you should be saying about the shampoo bars and the soap.
All right. Okay. Well, they don't do those things, but when you buy stuff from Taylor SoapWorks, you know that you are supporting a small family business dedicated to the core values of God, family, and country. And that is because Taylor SoapWorks is one of our ABS sponsors. They are conservative, you guys, and that is why it is such a great, perfect gift to get for your Father's Day right from one of our own audience members. That's the benefit of the American Business Spotlight. And by the way, because they are an American Business Spotlight and because they love our audience, because they're a part of our audience, using code CHICKS, when you go to chicksontheright.com and then sponsors and you click the banner for Taylor SoapWorks, when you use code CHICKS on her website, you're going to get 20% off of non-sale items.
No snowflakes, no soy boys. Do it. You should totally do it.
That's right.
Also, we were on OAN yesterday. That network. We were there. We were on it. I couldn't see anybody because I was like in a whole other program. I just couldn't see what was going on. So hopefully I was looking in the right place. Mock says that I was.
You were.
But yes, but we were on OAN. It is on all of our places. You can see it. It's out there. So you guys should check that out. We were doing that. And I think also, what other thing I needed to tell you guys about? If you haven't already, make sure that you join Facebook Insiders and or Locals. Do that too. Because these are your people. They're all your people. Real. And there's all sorts of stuff out there. I think Mock has posted pictures of her house, like recent pictures of her house, and also bikini pictures. So you want to check that out.
That is fake news. That's fake news.
Is it fake news? You
Total fake news.
All that out. So make sure that you join Facebook Insiders and or Locals or both.
The house pictures thing is true. And that's actually a really good reminder that there will be no show this Friday or the following Monday. So I'm off to South Carolina again to do some house follow-up. I have drywall, you guys.
What?
And so I'm going to take obviously tons of pictures and I will update in Facebook Insiders, and for our local supporters, we'll have tons and tons of house updates. It's coming along.
She's almost done, you guys.
Well, I wouldn't say almost. We're still looking at a mid-October.
October. It's coming. It'll be here before you know it. And then she's never going to travel again.
For real. I don't ever want to go anywhere.
She's going to, like, once she gets into that house, I seriously, I'm not even kidding you guys. Once she gets into that house, she's never leaving.
I don't want to.
Why would you? Why would you go anywhere? Yeah.
So anyway, it's a short week for us this week and next week because it's going to be Friday, Monday. So we'll remind you again, but that was a good reminder for now. So that is happening. Also, we found out yesterday from our friends at Grateful American Apparel, they've got our Camp Tono t-shirts for 2024 on their website, gratefulamericanaparel.com. Those t-shirts, the sale stops on June 18th. So if you have not gotten a shirt yet and you would like a shirt and they're awesome, you should check them out, gratefulamericanaparel.com. June 18th is the last day to get one. So get your hands on that now before you no longer can. And then another note that I had just as a matter of like sort of headlines. Remember UNC Chapel Hill, those boys that protected the flag and the statue and all of the things. Yeah. And remember how there was so much money raised for them for an epic rager.
Yep.
It has been set. So the epic rager has been set for Labor Day. at UNC Chapel Hill. John Rich is organizing all kinds of entertainment.
Oh my
It is going to be
gosh.
quite a party.
I want to go.
I know. I was thinking like my kid could actually go. It's only going to be a couple hours away from him.
Oh my
And I was like,
gosh.
he could totally go. But then I thought, do I want him to do that or do I want him to come home and visit? And then I was
Right.
like, I would rather
You want
see
him
him.
You want him to go. You
I
want him
kind
to
of do want him to go because he'll only have been at college. He'll only have been at college for like 2 weeks before.
Yes, you want him to go to the Rager. Are you kidding? That's going to be epic.
I don't even know like all the logistics, but it has been set. So if you are interested in that, just look up. By the way, this is what it's called: Flagstock 2024.
I love it.
So if you're interested in Flagstock, I'm sure if you just do a Google search on that, you will find it no problem.
Fantastic. So great.
And then a couple other housekeeping items. First, from Nurse Penny, our moderator over there on Rumble. She sent us this tip yesterday from Lisa B. Singh 7, who said, as far as polls go, maybe Republicans don't answer truthfully in them because they're afraid they are next.
That's a great point.
So that was an interesting point indeed.
Mm-hmm. Really great.
And then also, because you all know it's Pride Month, and so naturally there's all kinds of virtue signaling happening all over companies all across America. And what's always super funny is when the car makers, the car manufacturers like BMW, Mercedes, etc., when they put their little happy rainbow colors on their Twitter profiles, only for their US based locations. But then when you look at, BMW Middle East, it's of course the same old logo. So they've been called out multiple times about this, and now they are offering a defense. So here's what they said. This is BMW specifically. In recognition of LGBTQ plus Pride Month, we have decided to take a clear stance and change the logo of our international communication and marketing channels on behalf of all BMW Group markets and brands until the end of June. But then they go on. The international channels can be accessed worldwide and thus show the logo change in all markets worldwide. However, as is customary with such communication and marketing activities, it is at the discretion of our sales companies and independent distributors to decide if they wish to join centrally initiated communication and marketing campaigns or not. This is an established practice at the BMW Group, which also takes into consideration market-specific legal regulations and country-specific cultural aspects.
Country-specific cultural aspects. Like in the Middle East, they throw gay people off buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, money always wins, right? So, I mean, this is the perfect way to describe everything that you just saw. We virtue signal where it's safe.
Yeah. I mean, what total pansies. These people are just pandering pansies is what they are.
It was so perfect. One of the things that we talked about in our conversation on OAN was the fact that Biden apparently has just dismissed outright, I think we mentioned this yesterday, 350,000 asylum cases. So he's given amnesty to 350,000 illegal immigrants. This has just happened. And then what just happened is that one of those illegals who was accused of shooting 2 cops had their immigration dismissed within a year of illegally crossing into the US. So this has been going on for quite some time. This is completely Biden's fault because, he's just been exposed that 350,000 illegals, because they didn't have official criminal records,
oh my God,
they got their cases dismissed and now they're just free to roam around the country. It's just maddening. Absolutely maddening.
They were criminals when they broke the law by coming and busting across our border. They became criminals on that day. And one of the things I said yesterday on OAN was, tell me another country where this happens. Like, seriously, give me an example. I'll wait over here. Tell me where else on this planet where you allow 15 to 20 million people to just invade a country. What other country does that happen? Like, what a bunch of suckers we are.
Oh my God. And this is, of course, at the same time as a 75-year-old woman yesterday with health issues was sentenced to 2 years in prison because she prayed outside an abortion clinic.
Sick.
I mean, it's vile. It's absolutely vile. And then another thing that we didn't mention, this happened actually a couple weeks ago, but the supreme leader of Iran is congratulating and complimenting all of the university students protesting in favor of Hamas all over campuses in the United States. The supreme leader of Iran is telling those students, you are standing on the right side of history.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine? That's where they're getting the endorsement. That's why Jordan Peterson was like, this is so perfect. The leader of one of the world's most dangerous and repressive states congratulating Western universities and their students for their enabling. That is just perfect.
Gross.
God.
Gross.
And then lastly, then I loved, this was 3-year Letterman's response to the Ayatollah. He was like, dear Khaleesi, you have 0 SEC championships.
Oh my God, that is my favorite.
I mean,
that is my favorite. Oh my God. It's so great.
So great.
So
and then
great.
Also great is Defiant L's. If you're not following them on Twitter, what are you even doing with your life? This is one of the things. This from September 13th. Oh no, I'm sorry. From June 25th of 2020, Chunk said, I'm done. I'm now supporting defund the police 100%. I already largely agreed with the substance of their argument. Now I'm down for the framing too. There is no reform or transformation that can fix this. We have to start over and completely rebuild policing in this country. And then fast forward 2 years to September 13th of 2022, where he said, well, people who came up with defund the police slogan admit they were wrong. It was wildly counterproductive framing. You don't speak for the left, and neither do people pushing the counterproductive abolish prisons. Polls show almost no one on the left agrees with you.
Oh my God. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up.
Right?
Does he not know this stuff lives forever, Chunk? Hey, Chunk, meet you. God.
I know, it just cracks me up. Absolutely cracks me up.
Jeez.
If you are a person that is suffering, as we all are, from Bidenomics, and don't even get me started on the new reports about how much your power bills are going to increase this summer with air conditioning.
I can't.
It's bad, you guys. So just brace yourselves. Have a lot of fans.
Bracing.
It's going to be bad. So if you are somebody who has actually fallen into just an unbearable amount of debt as a result of Bidenomics, maybe you've been relying on credit cards and now the debt is creeping up on you and you can't pay the interest fast enough to actually tap into any of the principal, you have help. What used to be known as Pivotal Debt Solutions is now called Zero Debt USA, and they can help you get out of debt. They can help you cut or eliminate interest. They can find programs that will write off all of your balances so that you owe much less. You can stop the threatening phone calls, the collection calls, the letters. You can do this, by the way, without filing for bankruptcy. So if that has been an option that's been on the table for you and you would like to avoid it, please just think about visiting ZapMyDebt.com. Talk to them first. You're going to talk to a certified debt specialist who can tell you about all of the options that you have. They are so helpful, and they're especially helpful in times like these. Do not have shame about it. Do not file for bankruptcy until you talk to the people at ZapMyDebt.com. And then if you wouldn't mind, on that site, be sure to click on the chicks on the right in the how did you hear about us box when you sign up. ZapMyDebt.com. All right. Everybody, of course, is talking about the big hearing from yesterday with Dr. Fauci.
Or Mr. Fauci.
Or Mr. Fauci, as Marjorie Taylor
Greene would call him.
would call him. So we've got a lot of clips to share from that. I'm frustrated because it's once again just like a lot of great sound bites and then nothing, right?
Right.
So,
nothing will happen. Nothing, because he's a Democrat. Nothing will happen.
Nothing's going to happen, but we'll get to the sound bites. First, we have to thank Margaret Nusser Gerlach for the super sticker. Thank you very much. And also to Regina Pontes. Thank you, Regina, who says, FYI, June has been the month celebrating the Sacred Heart of Jesus since 1790 in the USA. Amen to that. Thank you very much to both of you for those super stickers. So we're going to kick it off with a fellow medical doctor who, by the way, treated COVID patients during the height of COVID and served as a member of the House of Representatives. So this is Dr. McCormick, and he is telling Fauci that this is not just about like bloggers and influencers. This is about medical doctors who had problems with the policies of COVID. Here he is.
It's been insinuated that politicians, only bloggers, only conspiracy theorists are disagreeing with you. I want to point out that I'm probably the only member of Congress that actually treated patients during the pandemic from the very beginning to the very end of the pandemic, during night shifts in the ER. Thousands of patients during that time. And in 2020, I was censored. My medical license was threatened because I disagreed with bureaucrats. Literally taken off the internet as a person who is treating patients with leading edge technologies, developing theories, but doing my very best, but being censored by the United States government for the first time, stepping in and taking the place of medical professionals as the experts in healthcare. Any dissent surrounding COVID-19 treatments, mask mandates, and any public policy surrounding the pandemic was immediately labeled as anti-science. I watched as public health officials and politicians told my patients what treatment options were best for them, regardless of their comorbidities or their medical history. Despite my education and my training and my experience, my opinions were relegated to conspiracy and misinformation by so-called healthcare experts who had never treated a patient throughout the entire pandemic.
Yeah. And that was across the board. I mean, he wasn't the only one, obviously. There were so many people that were silenced by Fauci and his troll brigade. And he just
acts so
smug.
Innocent. And yeah, like he's done nothing wrong. That's what makes me the angriest, I think.
No remorse. He's so freaking evil, man.
Mm-hmm. He really is. Alexandra, thank you. She says this Thursday is D-Day, and yet our military doesn't get a month, but just one day. Gotta love boycott month, aka Pride. That was
yeah.
Representative Brad, I think it's Brad Wenstrup from Ohio, also went after Fauci about just the power that he had, that bureaucrats had during COVID.
Officials from your office, in their own writing, discussing breaking federal law, deleting official records, and sharing private government information with grant recipients. The office you directed and those serving under your leadership chose to flout the law and bragged about it. Why did you allow your office to be unaccountable to the American people? You were the highest paid person in the government. This makes you more accountable to the people, not less. Dr. Fauci, whether intentional or not, you became so powerful that any disagreements the public had with you were forbidden and censored on social and most legacy media time and time again. This is why so many Americans became so angry, because this was fundamentally un-American.
But his responses were just like, I don't, like, screw you.
Yeah, he blame shifted. I mean,
I don't. Yeah, and he would be like, I don't understand your question. I don't have to answer your question. I mean, he's just his responses were gross.
Yeah. Dr. McCormick played his own audio back to him, that part where he talks about how, you know, we got to break people essentially of their ideological bullshit. That's a direct quote from Dr. Fauci. And they played that at him. And he was even able to dance around his own words. This is McCormick again.
In an interview that you gave as part of an audiobook written by Michael Spector, that you believed an institutional should make it hard for people to live their lives so they'd feel pressured to get vaccinated. Could we run the audio clip on that, please?
You think can be done about it. I have to say that I don't see a big solution other than some sort of mandatory vaccination. I know federal officials don't like to use that term.
Once people feel empowered and protected legally, you are going to have schools, universities, and colleges are going to say, you want to come to this college, buddy? You're going to get vaccinated. Lady, you're going to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Big corporations like Amazon and Facebook and all of those others are going to say, you want to work for us, you get vaccinated. And it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit and they get vaccinated.
Thank you. Are all objections to COVID vaccinations ideological bullshit, Dr. Fauci?
No, they're not, and
Thank
that's
you.
not what I was referring to.
Well,
Oh
in
my
reference
God.
to making it hard for people to get education, traveling, working, I'd say it very much was in context. And I take great offense to this.
It was the CDC.
Can you
How-
read them?
How did we give so much power to one dude?
God, I don't know.
How did we allow that? And I think that's the big takeaway, at least for me, from that whole debacle, is we can never let that happen again, ever.
But
Ever.
like, if there is no accountability, then how do we not? How do we make sure if he doesn't face any consequences, how can we ever prevent this from happening again?
Right.
Like,
Well,
because it'll be him or somebody like him, just as power hungry, that does it all again.
that does it all again. Yeah, but I will guarantee you that, listen, if there is another pandemic in the future, which let's just be honest, there will be, that if they try that crap again, there will be people that are just like, oh, hell no, you're not telling me what to do. They won't comply. They just won't. People will not comply like they did. They will not turn their freedoms over. It'll be, listen, a lot of people will. They're going to be like, half the country will be like, oh, yes, sir. I'm going to bend over. I'm going to do exactly what you said. Because there are still people wearing masks, Robert De Niro.
Yep.
There are still dumbass people out there who are just so hungry to be ruled. But then there's half of us that are like, no, I'm not buying what you're selling. Because as evidenced by what we saw yesterday, it was just made up as they went along. This is what he did. And I know we played stuff from the CDC, like people at the CDC who literally they had fun with it.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
see what we can do. Let's see what these people, these morons out there will do, because we're just making it up as we go along and they're doing it. I mean, it's madness. You're absolutely right, though. If we don't hold somebody accountable, there's no telling what will happen in the future. But I can tell you one thing, I'm not complying. I'm not doing it. I mean, no way. This guy is just an evil little troll, and he has no control over me or my family.
Well, and I think it was yesterday that we talked about the fact that he's now, or maybe it was even last week, where he's now saying, oh yeah, that 6 foot thing, that 6 foot separation thing, that just sort of came out like,
oh my God.
We're not, there weren't any official studies, but that was sort of the CDC coming out with guidelines, and then he jumped on it. That's what I mean when I say that yesterday he did a lot of blame shifting, because when they asked him specifically about the 6 foot space and how there's literally no science to back that up, he was like, oh, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was the CDC. Here's that clip.
Traveling, working, I'd say it very much was in context. And I take great offense to this.
It was a CDC decision, and it was clear.
Were you dialoguing with the CDC?
Excuse me?
Were you in communication with the CDC?
CDC was part of the coronavirus response team. Yeah.
And you didn't feel an obligation to go to them and say, look, Americans aren't going to trust us.
Yeah.
We're providing them with misinformation.
We have discussions at the White House about that. We did, but the CDC's decision, and was their decision to make, and they made it.
And you didn't feel an obligation as the lead scientist at the NIH to challenge that.
I've challenged the CDC multiple times.
Publicly on this regard?
Issues. Excuse me?
Publicly, you challenged them on the 6 foot distancing rule?
It is not appropriate to be publicly challenging a sister organization.
Do you agree that Americans now have lost their trust in science,
Right.
in lead science from government because of misinformation like this?
Well, when you talk about misinformation, I think that you have to be careful. It's not disinformation. It was information that ultimately proved, when you put the aerosolization in, that
It was not an effective rule to have 6 feet of distancing. Dr.
So, I mean, what a dick this guy is.
Oh my God.
It's just, he's so arrogant. It's unbelievable. He's unwilling to take any responsibility for any of this. He's responsible for the deaths of so many people. He's responsible for so much, just the awfulness of things that happen across. I can't, there's no culpability for this guy, none whatsoever. And you know what? People who are in public health, who work in public health, or even work in pharma for that matter, so many people should be angry at this guy. Because if you're in public health, like if you made it your life's work to be in public health, and you're a good person and you do it for the right reasons, I would, if I did that, I would be so pissed off at this guy.
Yeah.
Because people have no faith in that industry anymore. People have no faith in pharma. I know I worked in in pharma for over 20 years. There are actually good people who work in pharma who do it for the right reasons. I know that's hard to believe, but they do. But there are people who do it for the right reasons and they do good things. And now people are like, screw pharma. Pharma sucks because of people like Fauci. And so it sucks. You know, it really sucks because everybody now, I feel like most of the people on our side of the aisle look at industries like that and they have no faith. They hate those industries because of Fauci. Shame on him.
And he will not own any of it. He will not own any of it. Ivania Castle on Venmo. Thank you. She says, good morning from Cali. Cuckoo. Special deals are being offered at San Diego car dealerships here. No documents or driver's license is required to buy a new car. The ads run on Peacock and only in Spanish. Wish I could move. Love you, ladies. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That is something.
Wow, was right.
Okay, back to this hearing. So not only is he not owning any responsibility for all of the hell that he put this country through, he's also crying about his own situation and the fact that he gets death threats, you guys.
Oh my God.
So remember, as you watch this, by the way, to look just off of his shoulder where there is a guy whose name you'll learn in just a little bit, who is making all the faces at him while he is, boo-hooing his own personal situation. Here it is.
Dr. Fauci, can you please share with us the nature of the threats you have received since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yes, there have been everything from harassments by emails, texts, letters of myself, my wife, my 3 daughters. There have been credible death threats leading to the arrests of 2 individuals. And credible death threats means someone who clearly was on their way to kill me. And it's required my having protective services essentially all the time. It is very troublesome to me. It is much more troublesome because they've involved my wife and my 3 daughters.
Oh my God.
At these moments, how do you feel?
Oh, how do you feel?
Keep your mic on.
Terrible.
Do you continue to receive threats today?
Yes, I do. Every time someone gets up and says I'm responsible for the death of people throughout the world,
You are.
the death threats go up.
I mean, you are responsible for that.
I'm
And think
sorry
of all
that the truth hurts.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, but that's what you did. You are responsible for that. Think of all the people that died alone because
God, I
of
hate
you.
thinking about that.
You remember all the people that died alone, didn't have any of their family around because you made that happen. Remember when he was like, you can't have Christmas with your families. Remember when he did that?
Oh, and I'm sorry, you can't have funerals either.
Yeah. Remember when he did that, you guys? This guy is such a piece of crap. And he's like, oh, I got death threats. We get death threats. Shut up, Fauci.
And we didn't kill anybody.
We have never killed anybody. God, give me a break. Cry me a river.
Nor have we
troll.
tried to control everybody else's lives.
Never.
Or put people out of business or
I've never told
like the
anybody
list goes on.
Yeah, I've never told anybody they can't see their grandma when she's dying. God, he's such a jerk, this guy.
I know it. And we have so much more to get to, namely Marjorie Taylor Greene, the reason for my name today. She had quite a day, as she always does, on the House floor and afterwards. And we're going to get to that in just a second, but not before we remind everybody about the education you can get from our friends at Birch Gold simply by texting the word chicks to 989898 to get your free information kit. And Steve Forbes, by the way, who everybody knows is kind of like a financial wizard, he had this to say about gold specifically. He said, and I quote, "Gold maintains its intrinsic value better than anything else on earth, and that is for the past 4,000 years. When you see the dollar price fluctuate around gold, that means the dollar is weakening." And that's something that this is part of the information that you'll get when you get that kit for free from Birch Gold. That's just one of the things that you're going to learn about. Peter Schiff, another expert, said people should buy gold while it's still cheap because when gold is remonetized, when it's once again at the center of the monetary universe, the price has only one way to go, and that is up. So get in while you can get in is the message there. And again, you can learn all of this for free by just texting the word chicks to 989898, and you can get your free information kit from our friends at Birch Gold. All right. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I've said I'm not a fan of, even when I agree with her, a lot of times it just feels like she's looking for her moment in the spotlight. And when she was on the House floor, she decided that she was not going to use doctor. She was not going to use Dr. Fauci's title. She was going to call him Mr. Fauci, as you'll hear in this clip that talks about beagles and all kinds of other things. Here she is.
Fauci, you were quoted on CBS Face the Nation saying it's easy to criticize, but they're really criticizing science because I represent science. Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci?
I am a scientist who uses the scientific method to gain information.
Yes, you said you represent science. Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci? Yes
Again,
or no? Yes or no?
No, that's not a yes or no
Yes,
answer.
it's a yes or no.
I don't think it is.
Okay, well, we'll take that as a you don't know what you represent.
Oh,
But this, as director of the NIH, you did sign off on these so-called scientific experiments. And as a dog lover, I want to tell you this is disgusting and evil, what you signed off on, and these experiments that happened to beagles paid for by the American taxpayer. And I want you to know Americans don't pay their taxes for animals to be tortured like this. So the type of science that you are representing, Mr. Fauci, is abhorrent, and it needs to stop. Mr. Fauci, you also represent the type of science that where you confess that you made up the COVID rules, including
I didn't hear what you
6
said.
feet social distancing and masking of children.
I never said I made anything up.
You admitted that you made it up. You
I
made it
didn't
up
say
as you went.
I made it up.
So are you saying this is fake news, Mr. Fauci?
I didn't say I made anything up.
What did you say?
I said that it is not based in science and it just appeared.
But this is science.
What does dogs have to do with anything that we're talking about today?
These are scientific experiments. This is what you signed off on. But you also told the American people they had to distance by 6 feet. They had to wear a mask. But let's also talk a little bit further about the type of science that you represent. NIH scientists made $710 million in royalties from drug makers, a fact that's been hidden. Let's talk about the fact about, is it right for scientists and doctors getting paid by the American people, government taxpayer paychecks, to get patents where they're paid millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in royalty fees, especially when the NIH and these government agencies, most powerful agencies in our country, are recommending medical suggestions and advice and making up guidelines like 6 feet distancing and masking of children. Do you think that's appropriate? Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci? Because you're not doctor. You're Mr. Fauci in my few minutes. No, I don't need your answer.
So at that moment, that is when there was a 2 to 3 minute break, because then there were all kinds of Democrats going, point of order. She's she's going against the rules of decorum by not referring to him by his proper title. They spent like a whole bunch of time arguing that, and then let her finish her stuff, which is, here's the rest of it.
Science here, your science is displayed perfectly in this picture where children in school were put in plastic bubbles because of your science, your repulsive, evil science. And let's go back to your very own email. You said earlier you don't use email. Oh, you do. Right here. This is your own email where you said the typical mask you buy in the drugstore is not really effective in keeping out virus. I do not recommend that you wear a mask. This is your email. This is your own words. But yet children all over America were forced to wear masks. Healthy children forced to wear masks, muzzled in their schools. And then they were forced to learn from home because of your so-called science and your medical suggestions, while you and all your cronies get paid from Big Pharma You know that what this committee should be doing? We should be recommending you to be prosecuted. We should be writing a criminal referral because you should be prosecuted for crimes against humanity. You belong in prison, Dr. Fauci.
I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong on any of those things. Her approach, I know you hate her approach, but what did she say that was wrong?
I'm not saying that she said anything wrong. I'm
I
saying that she is always out for attention.
But I mean,
always.
I can't find anything wrong with what she said. I mean, the Beagle thing, I know some people were put off by the Beagle thing. However, let me point out that you will not see any of like the liberal lamestream media picking that up and running with it. Although they had a heyday with Kristi Noem and the dog. You know what I mean? They just went and they ran with that. And it was like 2 weeks of pummeling her for the dog thing, dog abuse. But then this guy is like using my money to abuse dogs. You know what I mean? I know it's like pharmaceutical stuff. I get it, whatever. But still, the guy's evil. And he's using my money to torture beagles. And somebody said, BLM, Beagles Lives Matter. They do. They actually do. So, I mean, you won't see them take exactly the approach that they did with Kristi Noem. They will ignore it completely because, you know, it's Fauci and that's their guy. It was on Vanity Fair and he's going to be played by Brad Pitt in the biopic of his life, right? Because they love him. He's so hot and sexy.
Well, and I don't have clips of the Democrats who were defending him at every turn in this hearing. I mean, they were absolutely falling all over themselves to just say, thank you so much for your service to this country. I mean, it was vile. And then I think it was Raskin who accused Marjorie Taylor Greene of worshiping Trump, which she took great issue with and talked about it in a post-hearing interview right here.
Chairman, I have it.
In that room? No, absolutely not. I mean, everything I said is correct. It's how the American people feel. It's what we know to be a fact. It's all the evidence has been proven true. We have Jamie Raskin in there accusing us of worshiping Trump, worshiping as a convicted felon. He is a convicted felon. Well, yeah, so is George Floyd. And everybody, and you all too, the media worship George Floyd. Democrats worship George Floyd. There were riots burning down the fucking country over George Floyd, and Raskin is in there saying we worship him. Excuse me, let me correct you, and this is really important. I don't worship, I worship God. God. And Jesus is my savior. I don't worship President Trump. And I'm really sick and tired of the bullshit annex I have to deal with constantly from the Democrats. So that's what we just went through in there. And then they're sitting there, they can attack my character all day long. What's his face in there? Whoever was talking last was calling me insane. But yet we can't say, oh, they're attacking my character. Oh no, it's nonstop BS and annex. You want to know why? The Democrats don't have anything. They're responsible for the lockdowns, forced vaccinations, kids being forced to stay home, people committing suicide, and all the horrors that this country lived through during COVID. Fauci belongs in prison. He should be tried for mass murder, and he should be tried for crimes against humanity. That's how I feel after that hearing. That's how the American people feel.
Again, I disagree with nothing there. I just said there's nothing there that I have a problem with. I don't see a problem.
I'm just so frustrated that this will lead to absolutely nothing.
I'm sure it will lead to nothing, but she was 100% correct in everything that she just said.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, do you disagree with anything there? I don't disagree.
I'm with Kelly J, who's just like, I don't like her, but I don't disagree. I mean, that's exactly how I feel. Like she is so off-putting to me in almost every way.
Right.
Even when I agree with her, I just
listen.
Oh my God.
I probably would not be friends with her. Yeah. I'm just putting that out there. We probably would not be like BFFs, but I agree with everything that she says. And I'm glad that, and listen, I'm glad that she's speaking out because where's everybody else?
Well, there were plenty of Republicans in there speaking out. We played those clips earlier before we played hers.
But where have they been all the way? Where have they been?
Not getting the kind of attention that she gets for herself.
Because she speaks out and she says the things. You know what I mean? It's like,
and none of it does any good. Whether they're quiet about it or whether they're loud about it, we are still in the same frickin' place. That's
and it's kind of like it goes back to the stuff about Trump too. You know, it's like all the stuff that all the cases with Trump, everything else. It's like we have got a bunch of wusses on our side of the aisle that are unwilling to fight. They're unwilling to say the things. They're like, we gotta be polite. We have to be polite, and there's a certain decorum. And like they're the Mitch McConnells. I'm sick of those people because nothing happens, and then we get trampled on. So, I mean, say the things because at this point we are a third world country. It's time to throw down.
I guess it can't hurt at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like none of it is doing any good. Whether you're Marjorie Taylor Greene or whether you're Dr. McCormick, none of it is mattering. None of it. And that is what is so frustrating.
It's time to throw down.
Karen Cerencioni, thank you. Karen says, my grandma died at age 108 in April 2020, and I couldn't say goodbye. I will never forgive Fauci. Oh my God.
Gosh.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's stuff like that just, oh my gosh. Karen Elliott, thank you. Karen says 2 words to describe him: narcissistic sociopath. Demons don't have a conscience.
Right.
Conscience, I think is what
he
you meant.
doesn't.
Yes.
He doesn't have a conscience. He doesn't.
Tanya Chaplain, thank you. Tanya says, my children were not allowed to be with their brother when he passed in 2021, not to mention the funeral. God, this is infuriating.
Oh God.
Michelle Enterline, thank you. Michelle says, Fauci will stand before God. Vengeance is mine, says God. Douche Elias, thank you. He says, only Dems can be demeaning. And Leah, thank you. Leah says, MTG is not looking for attention. She's just pissed off. I would act the same. I disagree with that, but that is you're welcome to that opinion. I desperately disagree with Kaitlan Collins, who of course was probably just jumping to get Fauci as the first interview after the hearing yesterday. And you can tell what side she's on. She's like, oh no, how bad are the threats right now, Dr. Fauci? How are you dealing with all the threats?
I just wonder if you ever thought that you would still be getting threats like that, credible threats against your life, even now, 2 years out of government service.
Oh.
You know, it's very interesting. It's a pattern, Kaitlan, that whenever somebody gets up, whether it's a news media, Fox News does it a lot, or it's somebody in the Congress who gets up and makes a public statement that I'm responsible for the deaths of X number of people because of policies or some crazy idea that I created the virus. Immediately, it's like clockwork, the death threats go way up. So that's the reason why I'm still getting death threats when you have performances like that unusual performance by Marjorie Taylor Greene in today's hearing. Those are the kind of things that drive up the death threats, because there are a segment of the population out there that believe that kind of nonsense.
Because it's true.
It's nonsense, he said.
Because it's absolutely true. I mean, are you enjoying your pension, dude? You enjoying it while we all work for it? Hope you're enjoying that. My God.
So you saw the guy, remember we pointed out the guy that was like totally making faces at him while he was getting emotional, kind of emotional that Democrats are so good at, where there's no tears, even though their voices are all choked up.
None.
So now, thanks to Kaitlan, we know who that fellow is. And here she is asking him about that.
Were you aware that sitting behind you today, we have him highlighted right now on the screen, but that person, that's Brandon Fellows. He's actually a January 6th defendant who was removed from the hearing later on. And as he was leaving, I don't know if you could hear him, but we heard him on camera shouting that he believed also that you belong in prison. Did you hear that?
I didn't hear it, but it was brought to my attention before. And there was also someone behind me, I don't know if it was the same person, who was identified as someone who just got out of jail for being arrested for the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Now, what's somebody like that doing at a hearing about COVID?
I'm sorry, is he not allowed to be at a public hearing in the people's house?
Yeah, the last time I checked, it's a free freaking country. You can walk around and do things and be free. We can do that, right? Still, aren't we allowed to still do that? Or
well, not according to Fauci.
Yeah, I mean, he really doesn't want us to be free, as evidenced by all the crap that he did.
Dave Rubin was on Gutfeld last night, and he had something to say to Fauci.
Got out of jail for being arrested for the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Now, what's somebody like that doing at a hearing about COVID?
Nothing to do with school closures. We could go on and on. There's another part of that testimony where he says that he blames 200,000 to 300,000 COVID deaths on podcasters for spreading misinformation about vaccines. I would like to say, as an unvaccinated podcaster, I want to use my words carefully here, Anthony Fauci can go himself.
Agreed. Yes.
He chose those words very carefully.
Yes, my sentiments exactly. As an unvaccinated podcaster, I would like to say the same thing. I second that, Dave Rubin. I second that.
I love him. Also, Hunter's jury selection started yesterday, and he had some of his family members show up. Joe Biden did not go, I don't think, unless, well, maybe he did. I'm not sure if he went or not. I know Jill did, and I know like some other family members did. Joe Biden released a big statement about it, but Judge Janine was talking about Jill Biden and her motive for being there for jury selection. Here she is.
You know, and it's kind of interesting that Jill Biden went in during jury selection. You know, it's kind of like a mob tactic to kind of stare down the jury. Although I'm sure she didn't mean anything like that, but you know, the jury selection is a strange time to come into court. But I want people to understand one thing, that this isn't just an illegal gun case. You know, we see them all the time and people get away with them all the time. This is a guy who went in and lied on a pistol permit application. He lied to the guy he was buying it from. And of course, he took possession of it while he was engaged in the use of illegal drugs and narcotics. But so it's not just gun possession. It's not just the use of the gun. It's a use of a gun when you're surrounded by drugs. You know, it's perjury on a felony affirmation. And so it's not just illegal gun possession. It's so much more than that. It's so many more steps. It's Hallie Biden, his brother's widow, that he's dating and uploading all kinds of pornographic images of the two of them, who throws out the gun allegedly because she's concerned about his drug use and his possibility of having a gun.
And he's boinking his dead brother's wife.
Ew.
I'm just saying the truth. That's what he was doing. You know, I mean, that's who Hallie. That's who she is. I mean, this guy is such a colossal scumbag in every way.
The whole family is
You're
so
right.
corrupt.
They're so gross. And then they're like, "I'm sorry, we can't have any contact with the stripper's baby because that's beneath us."
Right. We got to draw the line.
We got to, yeah. Really? Because I mean, that chick and her daughter probably have more character in like her little finger than your entire. Seriously, they're just disgusting. That whole family is there. Yes, they're a bunch of grifters. All of them. They're so gross. Yes, I'm passing judgment on all of them because they're disgusting, especially Hunter. So gross. And when he talks, he sounds just like his dad.
I know.
Like a young, like the younger Joe Biden. It creeps me out. They're all just so skeevy. Oh, gross.
Tim Griffiths, thank you. Tim says, "This is why I thank God every day there is a hell. Fauci, Birx et al. Will not see justice in this life, but they certainly will in the next."
Yeah, they will.
Let's hope so.
They totally will.
Claire McCaskill was talking about the Hunter jury selection and saying, I don't think she means to say what she says in the way that she says it, but it was very telling that she announces on MSNBC what Republicans want. You tell me if she's wrong.
Understand that what the Republicans want to do is allow everyone to buy guns everywhere without ever having to tell the federal government anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we want. That's
Exactly.
what we're allowed with the
That's-
Constitution.
It's called the Second Amendment, lady. What is your outfit? Seriously, what is it? Like, did you see it?
No, and if I rewind, it's going to get all screwy.
You don't
so
have
I don't want to.
You don't have to rewind. But like, why are they assaulting me again?
Was it more clams? Was it more clams?
It wasn't clams, but it's like she had a giant bib on. Why are these Democrat women constantly assaulting me with their clothes? They all need stylists, all of them.
Kamala has put out a new ad, and just like Claire, it's like she says things and then doesn't realize what she's saying and how there's just no self-awareness in many of the things that she's talking about in this ad. For example, she wants to talk about how Joe Biden and she will ensure our freedom. And then at the same time, she's saying, we're going to put Trump behind bars, essentially. So it's like, we want to be fascist, but we want to tell you that it's the other side that are fascists. So just do as, it's total projection.
Just real quick though, can we just take a look at her face right now? Because that's the most flattering still, I think, that you've ever had of Kamala. Yeah. Just
and that wasn't even on purpose.
Right. Before she starts projecting and gaslighting you, let's all just take a look at her face.
Enjoy.
Anyways,
just soak that in.
Soak it in.
All right, here she is.
I know you don't want to see Donald Trump retake the White House.
I
know
do.
you don't want a nationwide ban on abortion. I know you don't want major cuts to Social Security and Medicare.
Not going to happen.
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in?
Not a dumpster
A
fire.
country of chaos, fear, and hate.
That's what we
Or
have.
a country of compassion, freedom, and rule of law.
Oh my
Joe and I
God.
are doing everything we can to protect our freedoms and keep Donald Trump away from the White House. And we need your help to finish the job. Please chip in today to help power our campaign.
They don't get it.
Thank you, and please take care.
That's the most hysterical thing.
Right?
I guess it's an ad, the most hysterical ad. We're trying to protect your freedoms by taking away his freedom and taking away your freedom to get him
To
in
vote
the
for
White
him.
House. Right. But we're protecting your freedoms to take away your free. What is, and you guys, can you see? They can't see. They just can't see.
That's why I thought that was so funny. I just saw that and I was like, but does
God.
she hear what she's actually? But
Yeah. And
does
then
she know?
Democrats will turn around and call us Nazi fascists. This is what they're going to do. No, you don't get it. Bless
and
their
to
hearts.
actually suggest that by keeping them in power, we're going to have a less divided, less hateful, more rule of law, less
Right.
chaotic country.
It's
There's wars freaking everywhere right now.
We are in, like, we're living in a dumpster fire. we're actually in it. We're in the dumpster. It's on fire.
Just,
my God.
That was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Aaron Powers, thank you. Aaron says, I think MTG is wild and probably a little crazy, but man, do I respect her huge balls.
Yeah, she does have some gigantic
She's
balls.
got 'em. She does have them on that butch build back better body of hers or whatever that.
Whatever. But I'm good with it. I'm totally good with it.
Okay, so here is an interesting discussion, and I don't know the right answer to this. I'm just going to say that up front because I have very mixed feelings about it. But you guys remember, we talked about this last week when the verdict came down. Larry Hogan, former governor of Maryland, was one of the people who tweeted out, "Listen, we got to respect the jury's decision." Remember?
Yeah, and I put on our Instagram page like the response to that was like "F you"
from Mike Davis. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I mean, anybody that said that at that time, in
They're
that
like,
time, we were just like, are you serious? That's your message right now as a
Yeah.
member of the Republican Party. Now,
Yeah.
keep in mind, Larry Hogan is trying to be a senator now. He is running for Senate in the state of Maryland. And one thing to keep in mind as we look at these next couple clips. One thing to keep in mind is that Maryland is a blue state. So the fact that Governor Hogan was able to ever get elected is kind of amazing. And as you know, we don't have control of the Senate right now. If he becomes a senator, which he very well could, given his name recognition in the state and the fact that people there seem to like him, even though he's a Republican, that could be really, really important, right? To have a Republican, even though he's a rhino, I get it, he's still better than a Democrat, right? In terms of voting. So because there's been a lot of criticism from Trump himself and from Lara Trump of Larry Hogan and his comments, now there's some pushback from Kevin McCarthy, from Brit Hume, and you'll see that here.
The Trump campaign and even Lara Trump are saying they're not sure that Hogan's the right person. Listen here.
I think people should take a deep breath, actually reread what Larry Hogan said in the process. It wasn't an anti-Trump comment.
No, he said we should respect the jury's verdict.
Okay. You want Larry Hogan going through. He has proven that he can win in that state, two-term governor. He is a conservative in the process. And if you want to win the Senate, you got to be playing in all these states.
I mean, does it make sense, Britt, to kneecap somebody who might just get you the Senate?
No, it's political malpractice. I mean, Maryland is a very blue state. And Larry Hogan, who remained popular as a Republican governor and remains that way to this day, is giving the Republican Party the best chance it's had in a long time to elect a Republican to the Senate. And the Lara Trumps of the world ought to be saying, please, Mr. Hogan, please, Governor Hogan, you do whatever you have to do to get elected. And if some of the things you say and you believe in don't agree with what I think, that's okay. Do what you have to do. That's how politics is played by smart people.
And then there's Mike Davis, who says Republicans should not support Larry Hogan. We'll have to spend $100 million on that race to even make it competitive. In this zero-sum game, that's crucial money diverted from more viable and better GOP candidates who know the Trump trial was partisan, corrupt, and rigged. So there are your two sides.
Okay, but then who is the alternative, though?
That's the thing. That's the thing. So it's either a freaking super liberal Democrat or Larry Hogan.
See, this is the thing. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's like you have to spend all this money to make it competitive and all that kind of stuff. And then people are like, he's a rhino. He's a never Trumper. Okay, fine. I think he's an ass, whatever, if you can hate him. What is the alternative? It's kind of like the Speaker of the House crap. People get all bunched up about the Speaker of the House thing. But listen, I'm a solutions girl. And I was this way in corporate America when I worked in corporate America. You come to me with a problem, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. But I need you to tell me a solution to the problem. Don't just come to me with problems. Give me a freaking solution.
Yeah.
And then we'll do it. Like we'll solve the problem together. But don't just come to me bitching about things. You know what I mean? And this is what I see a lot of in the Republican Party. I see a lot of people just bitching about people and bitching about things, and they don't have viable solutions. If you don't have a solution, somebody's going to replace this guy, and it's probably going to be a Democrat, and it's not going to be much better.
That's the problem. Is that even though he is, I mean, he's very left when it comes to being a Republican, we still can hope, I think, that in votes, most of the time he would be voting Republican. I don't know if that's true, but like if he wouldn't, then what's the point of even having the Republican? Why is he a Republican?
It's not perfect. It's not ideal.
It's not at all.
Like in a utopia, it'd be great if this guy was 100% conservative, like super far right.
Right.
But where's that guy? Where's the lady that is super awesome, utopian, 100% conservative? Find me that person and we'll run them.
Because I can guarantee you that if it's not Hogan, it's going to be a Democrat who you can be assured will never vote with Republicans.
And then
so do we want sometimes or do we want never? That's the question.
And this is the problem. And everybody's like, oh, it's it's uniparty. It's like he's just a wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay, great. Then what? Okay, exactly. So then you go ahead and put the liberal in, and then we're completely screwed from here on out because they will always put the liberal in. That person's going to win. And then it's like Democrats have that seat forever and ever. Amen. We're done. Put a fork in us.
Yeah.
So how's that a solution?
It's just not. And like Steve Craig said, if he was super far right, he wouldn't have won Maryland. We have to think about the board that we're playing here. You know what I mean? And so sometimes you got to politic even when you're dealing with nasty, awful people, because that's our only option.
It's strategy.
Exactly. It's political strategy.
It's strategy.
It's a horrible game, but it's the only game we've got.
It sucks. It totally sucks. I wish it's like all the people that are like, oh, this person is, then you run.
We don't need Maryland? How can you say that when we don't have the Senate right now? We need every possible senatorial vote. Every single one. I can't even believe you're just like, oh, we just don't need it. Well, look where we are now when we didn't need Georgia. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you guys. I get it. He's a rhino, but he's still better than a Democrat. Even if it's a tiny bit better, it's still better.
Even if he votes with us 60% of the time, that's better than 0% of the time.
Exactly. It's like it's like refusing a 1 scoop ice cream cone because you ordered 2 scoops.
Right.
That's just batshit. Okay.
I know. This is the thing. And then this is why when people, it's the same mentality of, well, I'm just not going to go vote.
Right.
Because everybody sucks. Okay. Well, then you might as well just give up on your country. Give up.
Yeah. The voting is rigged and the Democrats are going to cheat. So I'm just not gonna.
Tell your kids and your grandkids that you're just done. Tell them. Just go ahead and tell your kids and your grandkids that they're not worth it. Go ahead and tell them that.
Oh my gosh. All right, moving on, because Piers Morgan had quite a panel on the other day, including Michael Knowles, who was just, I don't know who this liberal chick is that he's battling. She is a moron. And they were talking about the Trump conviction. And Michael Knowles specifically was talking about the fact that no one has really been able to even articulate what the crime is that Trump committed. So he asks her to. It does not go well, you guys.
Fellow panelist here is celebrating that the rule of law has been vindicated and overturned 234 years of American legal tradition. I would challenge her to see if she could possibly articulate how and what crime Trump committed, because so far Alvin Bragg, the DA, has failed to do so. The judge in the case, Judge Merchan, has failed to do so. And they can't do it because Trump didn't commit any of the crimes for which he's been convicted.
Well, let's just ask quickly before I go to Kevin. Francesca, just on that point, what crime did Trump commit?
Here we go.
It was financial crimes. It was white collar crimes. That is exactly what they charged him. He was convicted on.
What was the crime?
It's New York State law.
No, I understand. What was the crime?
It is New.
Francesca,
I don't even like it. It is
hang on,
he just got convicted on 34 counts.
Francesca, what was the crime?
Of like cooking the actual books.
What was the crime?
You are not allowed. So you are not allowed to use your own financial, like your own money to pay off somebody, and then he logged it as something different. He logged it as just a regular payment, but he was actually paying off this porn star to keep quiet, which if he hadn't been running for president would not have mattered, but he was, and so it impacted campaign finance laws in New York State. Okay, that is what Juan Merchan just oversaw this.
Michael.
Alvin Bragg brought these charges because Michael Cohen, his sister, was already sentenced to 3 years to do it.
Okay, let's just go before. Kevin, I'll be very, very, very patient. We'll come to you.
Look, I'm no expert. Let me just say, hang on,
No,
Michael.
Francesca.
You are no expert.
By the
That's
way.
right, because the campaign finance law is a federal law.
Hang on.
Anyway.
This is.
Oh my God, that's my favorite. He's like, you're not an expert. You're kind of an idiot. He's okay.
I love that so much. Oh my God. I just love it.
So then what? So then the Clinton stuff had to have come up, right? Like, it's like, because this is the thing. Like, how is this? Everybody on the left thinks that what he did was just so terrible, including like all the chicks on The View, and they're just all. But if what he did was so bad, then we can throw Bill Clinton in jail, right?
That's why we have this next clip.
Right. Squarely Trump's making. This has nothing to do with his base. It has nothing to do with protecting American democracy, like happened on January 6th, according to them. This has to do with Trump making his bronzer-stained bed with a porn star, trying to cover it up, and then getting caught doing it.
And out of interest, before I go to Michael, out of interest, why is Bill Clinton able to have sex with an intern in the Oval Office when he's president and lie to the American people about it on national television? And why is he able to pay off Paula Jones $850,000, 4 times as much, 5 times as much as the Trump payment to Stormy Daniels, to get rid of a sexual harassment claim, again, while he's president? And he has no criminal court recourse for that. Why is that deemed to be better than what happened with Trump and Stormy?
I don't think anyone is making that case, Piers.
I'm asking you. What's the difference? What's the difference?
Or any predator. The difference is that he didn't cook the books financially using his own, using back channels in order to pay.
So paying
that
somebody off who
person
says you sexually harassed her, paying nearly $1 million while you're the president of the United States, and then having sex with an intern in the Oval Office and lying about it, that's fine because he's a Democrat.
Piers, only the leftists in your mind are making that argument.
Sorry?
Mike, no, actually, the leftists aren't making the argument. We're making the argument because people on the right, because we're like, there's a double standard. There's a double standard of justice. And you just proved that, Francesca.
Yep. Francesca
from San Francisco with the Golden Gate Bridge behind you. Yeah.
Alexandra, thank you. She says, my cousin makes balls every Christmas, yet they're never as big as the one MTG has.
What kind of balls?
I hope they're those like chocolate cake balls. I used to get those for Christmas,
thinking,
and they're so good.
It's so funny the difference between you and me, because I'm thinking meatballs and you're thinking like chocolate balls. Therein lies the difference between Mock and me.
Totally.
I'm thinking giant meatballs, you know?
And I was thinking of like the chocolate cake balls from Starbucks.
Or like Oreo balls. Right. There's a difference between us.
Oh my gosh. And Karen Cirencioni, thank you. She says, no Maryland Republican has held a U.S. Senate seat in almost 4 decades. It would be awesome if Hogan could do it. He's better than the alternative guys. Yeah. And there was some other commenter that was just like, I live in Maryland and Hogan sucks, and I'm not going to waste my vote on him. Well, congrats, I guess, for your new Democrat senator.
Right.
I mean, what do you think that's accomplishing, that you're not wasting your vote?
Oh my God, it gives me
I will never understand this.
It gives me a migraine.
Same. Mike Davis, once again, was on with Megyn Kelly. And Megyn is fired up, as I think you guys know from when we played some of her clips after the verdict last week. She is in fighting mode. She is like, no more politeness, no more of this. We're not going to prosecute and be as mean as the lefties are. She's like, we're going hard, we're going strong. And Mike Davis is on her team. This is a really good discussion.
Feel strongly, and I just had a fierce debate with Alan Dershowitz and Mark Garagos about this, that it's time to fight. Let's fight the way they fight. Let's take off the gloves. Let's go UFC, hardcore. Let's start indicting their people. I'm sorry, but if this is how we're going to do it, then we're going to have to do it like this until we can restore sanity to the legal process. And I'll give you a suggestion just out of nowhere about who we could start with. Could we please run SOT 7?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anything going on today?
Yeah.
Can't stand her.
That's Hillary Clinton.
God.
Last night in New York.
Stand her.
What do you think?
Gloating.
I 100% agree with you, Megyn, and that's the exact approach I ran with the Kavanaugh confirmation when I was the chief counsel for nominations. I ran what I called the dead chicken strategy. And when I did my clerkship on the Supreme Court briefly to help Gorsuch get set up, all the clerks meet with all the justices for lunch. You have like speed dating with the 8 other justices, and our lunch with Justice Clarence Thomas was my best and most memorable because he talks about growing up on the farm in Georgia. When dogs killed chickens, you wrapped those dead chickens around those dogs' necks. And as those chickens rotted around those dogs' necks, those dogs lost the taste for chicken. And Republicans need to do the same thing with these Biden Democrats on this lawfare. And they need to give these Biden Democrats a healthy dose of their own medicine with their own indictments and their own investigations. I think after maybe 4 years of the Trump 47 Justice Department doing that, working with Republican prosecutors and Republican juries in deep red Republican areas, Republican judges, corrupt Republican judges, hopefully that donated to President Trump, like the Democrats are doing to like the Democrats are doing to Trump now. Once Democrats get a healthy dose of their own medicine with the dead chicken strategy, I bet you they'll think long and hard before they do this again.
God, I love that analogy. I love it.
It is a good one.
So great. Do her first.
But here's a question. Here's my question, because Megyn said we need to do this until we can restore sanity to the legal system. How does that happen? How and when does this ever end? If we just keep going back and forth and like suing everybody and indicting everybody,
Well, it ends
how do you restore it?
It ends when they get when they stop having bloodthirstiness for the chicken. That's when it ends. It's like that's why it's a beautiful analogy, because you go after somebody like a Hillary Clinton and you put her ass in jail, or you at least try to like go after some of the big dogs, and you actually give them a taste of their own medicine. They're like, oh dang, we shouldn't have done this. It's kind of like when Ducey asked Biden, you know what if this happens to you? And he turned around and he said to him, I haven't done anything wrong. Really? Have you not? Have you not done anything wrong? Because you have. We just need to have some lawyers out there with some huge balls that are ready to go after these people. And I feel like they're out there. They just need to quit being so afraid to go after these people. They're out there. They're conservative lawyers. We just need to bankroll them and get them to go after these people, because it's time. It is freaking time. If you want to save our republic, then get the balls and go after these people and do exactly what Megyn said. I am 150% on board with this. I think that is exactly what we have to do. Give them a taste of their own medicine and make them taste the chicken. You know what I mean?
I just don't think it'll stop them. I think it'll just make them hungrier, and then it never stops.
No, I think she's right. I think give them a taste of their, like, put some of these people in jail, like fight fire with like flamethrowers. We have to. They just don't think we have it in us. I'm
sure that's true.
They do not think that we have it in us. And I think there are a lot of us that do. And people need to start showing up on our side. I mean, where are the people with balls? They're here. I know there are some of us that have them. Stand up and start fighting back to these people. And unless we do, we have lost our republic, you guys.
I wish she would have gone further on that point about restoring the legal system, because that's the part I want to know how that actually happens. Because like, if you think about it, as soon as Trump took the escalator, Democrats were immediately starting their Russia, immediately starting the investigations. And then when Republicans did fight back by pushing on the Hunter Biden stuff, they're acting like this came out of nowhere. They're like, the Republicans are weaponizing the Justice Department and going after Hunter for nothing, as if they completely forgot that they started it with the Russian investigation. Yeah, they're acting like we started it. And that's why I'm afraid it's going to be a never-ending cycle. It'll just be this forever and ever and ever.
They should go after Hillary. They should. Why stop at her? Go after Bill. See what the statute of limitations is. Go after Bill with the Paula Jones stuff. Why not? Go after him. Put one of those people in jail, or at least try to. At least show that, you know what? Okay, if you're going to do this, we're going to do that. Because it's your rules. We're going to play your game. Let's play their game. I totally agree with her. I mean, what have we got to lose? We have nothing to lose.
But I know that, but like, and I'm saying the same thing. I agree. I want to fight too. I just don't know where it ends. That was my question. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out is, this is not going to be like the chicken and the dog. Democrats will just get hungrier and want to do it harder. And that's why I don't think this will ever stop. I don't know how to restore our legal system. I just don't see it stopping. It's not stopping. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to continue to pretend as if they didn't do the whole Russian collusion investigation, as if the Steele dossier wasn't a thing. And they're going to be like, why are they attacking us? Why are they coming after us?
Yeah,
that's how they do. They are awful. They're awful.
Well, they can pretend all they want, but facts are facts. You know,
I mean,
facts are facts. And we know what she did. You know, everybody knows what she did.
I feel like this is one more thing that's taking us back to like Dave Smith's comment yesterday, where he was like, this is the end stages. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like we're on the downhill slope.
But I mean, I don't want to be on the side that doesn't go. I don't want to go down without a fight. I mean,
totally.
And I don't want to be on the side where we just go down with a whimper. I'm sorry, I'm not that person. I don't want to be associated with people that are just like, well, I mean, it is what it is. We're just going to get pummeled by these people. Sorry.
I just think as we fight, we need to know that this is not going to fix anything. It's just going to keep us in a cycle. We're going to continue on this downward slope.
Okay.
I still want to do it, but I just think we all need to be realistic about what that means. Well, it's not going to stop.
Okay. Well, if you feel that way, I feel like it's worth fighting for. And we've got to fight. We've got to fight. But I'm definitely not in the train of thought that we should just give up.
I'm not either.
Try to and not
We're
try
saying
to
the same thing.
Right.
I'm just saying that there's not
it's
going
never
to be
gonna
a stop.
end. Okay.
Yeah, it's
And
not
I
going
don't
to be
know.
like, oh, the Democrats are just going to lay down now because we got rid of Hillary. They're never going to do that. It will make them even madder.
I hear you. I don't know what the outcome's going to be, but I don't think that we should just stop. I mean, and that's what I feel like. That's what we're doing. We're just like
We
letting all
better
this.
not.
People are just rolling over, and I mean, we're getting pissed, but we're not really doing anything about it. We've got to do something about it, and that's why I agree with Megyn. We've got to start fighting back, and if that's legally okay, then we fight legally. That's how we do it.
It's the only thing we have left. It's the only thing we have left. We just need to be realistic about what it means. Is all. That's all I'm saying. Because we agree. I mean, like I'm not saying lay down. I'm saying lock all of them up. You know what I mean?
I choose to be a little idealistic. I'm not going to be extremely realistic. I want to fight, and I want to be a little idealistic because I believe in this country, man. It's the greatest experiment on the planet. I want to be a little idealistic, if for anything but my kids and my grandkid,
Nothing wrong with a little bit of hope.
Idealism.
Nothing wrong with that. Michelle Billier on Venmo, thank you. She said, we should be done turning the other cheek. It is time to smack the bully. Indeed. Did I miss anybody here? Oh, I did. Alexandra, she says they're chocolate Oreo balls. That's exactly what I was imagining.
Okay, those sound good with the meatballs.
She said she always serves it with a side of dick jokes on Christmas too. The whole family participates in the joke per tradition.
Yeah.
Tabitha Drum, thank you. Tabitha says Dems have been embedded for years, quietly moving pieces. That's why they're able to come out punching. It ends when the bully is lying on the floor. Man, I sure hope so. And Michelle Boyd, thank you. Michelle says, even if they don't stop, we must start and stand our ground. I do it daily at my left-leaning job. Good. Yes. Good. All right. One more like round of little clips to play just that are of interest before we get to our schlong and then our DD. Remember yesterday we talked about our schlong yesterday was about Kaitlan Clark and her fight with Kennedy Carter.
Kennedy. Yes.
I refuse to call her the hard K sound. Not doing it. Kennedy Carter. So, and remember, we talked about the chick that was on Kennedy's team who was cheering. Like as soon as she elbowed her to the ground, this other chick on Kennedy's team was cheering for her because, of course, you would do that when somebody's just taken down another player.
Yeah.
So gross. That person was Angel Reese. And Angel wants to believe that when she's looked at as the bad guy, that she's helping bring attention to the WNBA, that it's not really about Kaitlan, it's about her.
And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Oh my God.
Please.
The ego on this girl.
Oh my God.
Honey, no one's going to remember you in 20 years.
Nope.
That's cute that you think that, but
Not
nobody
happening.
watched. I mean, barely anybody still watches the WNBA. Let's just get real.
And the only reason we're talking about it is because of Kaitlan
Caitlin
Clark.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, they're being mean to her. That's why we're talking about it. Kaitlan it's still centered on Kaitlan.
I still don't know
If
this
she
girl's-
leaves and you don't have anybody to bully, you are done.
Right. I still don't know the girl's name that you just Angel. Angel.
I've already
something.
forgotten. I just
yeah,
told you
know
and
her
I don't
name.
remember.
I do remember Caitlin Clark though. So they're there. They're there.
There is a bar in Idaho who is openly celebrating Heterosexual Awareness Week and getting a lot of pushback for it because that's mean. You can't do that during Pride.
It's like hate speech now, isn't it? It's basically hate speech.
My favorite is when they say that to do so decenters marginalized people. Like the whole language around this conversation is so dumb.
I mean, let's get real though. Are gay people marginalized still?
No.
They get like months where they're celebrated. How are you marginalized at this point? You're not. You're celebrated. So
You've
stop it.
controlled the narrative so hard that now
Right.
every corporation feels indebted to put rainbows in their profile. Come on.
BMW has you in its like little profile. How are you marginalized now? Shut up.
So here is the restaurant owner, or I'm sorry, the bar owner talking about his plan for the week.
I love it.
Hey, my name is Mark Fitzpatrick, owner of Old State Saloon in Eagle, Idaho. Our saloon has become the heterosexual headquarters. We launched Heterosexual Awesomeness Month for June. Monday is Heterosexual Male Monday, and if you're a heterosexual male and you come in here, you get a beer for free. There's no strings attached. We'll call it Beers for Breeders. Wednesdays, if you're a heterosexual couple, you get 15% off your entire bill. And on Thursdays, all day is Her Hetero Happy Hour. So heterosexual awesomeness is basically an opportunity to celebrate God's design for man and woman and that sexual attraction between them. Idaho's the reddest state in the country, as you know. We've got so many people here who are like-minded and who want to do what's right, they want to do what's moral. I think that this country is ready to stand up and say, hey, enough is enough. Let's stand for things that are right and true and godly. Everybody is welcome to come here and help us celebrate Heterosexual Awesomeness Month.
I freaking love it. I love it. That is
my bad.
fantastic.
It's a whole month, not just a week.
So great. I would so go to that bar.
Isn't that the coolest?
Fantastic.
I love that.
I hope that more people do that.
Lori Herget, thank you. Lori says D's are like a playground bully. Until you stand up to them and fight back, they won't stop. Once you start fighting back, it only takes a couple of times for the bully to find a new target. I hope that's true. I don't
agree with
think
that.
that's necessarily true in politics, but I hope it is.
I agree with that. I really do agree with that because I don't think, because historically we have not fought back. They are not used to us fighting back. They're used to us rolling over. And so if we do fight back, they're going to be like, wait, what is this? I'm confused.
What does this mean?
I don't understand what you're doing. And it's hurtful. Why are you fighting back? Yeah, I just think they're going to be confused.
Alexandra says the fact that I'm moving to that area, it is like a sign from God. She must be moving to Idaho.
Idaho. I love it.
I've never heard of Representative Congressman John Rose before, but he is a congressman who had a speech to make on the House floor yesterday and apparently did not have child coverage, so brought his son to work with him. And you guys, this is what it looked like. And I have only got a little clip of this. This was 5 minutes.
Oh my
You're just
God.
seeing a little bit of it right here. You're going to love this.
Using the justice system to engage in a politically driven prosecution and now conviction of a major political party nominee running for president, especially on the charges brought against Donald Trump, should gravely concern every member of this body as well as every American across our country, whether they be Republican or Democrat, for Donald Trump or against him. Regardless of one's opinion of the current Republican nominee, we'd be well served to remember the long and cherished tradition we have in this country of settling our political differences at the ballot box. For nearly 2.5 centuries, our nation...
That's the greatest.
And so he posted this shortly after saying, this is what I get for telling my son Guy to smile at the camera for his little brother.
That is the cutest thing. Oh my God.
Isn't that the greatest?
It kind of reminds me of back in the 80s when Rudy Giuliani's son used to like do stuff and then Chris Farley would play a son. Do you guys remember that?
Oh my God.
Remember that bit?
Right.
Remember that bit on Saturday Night Live that, I mean, I'm aging myself, but
oh my God.
He used to play a son and he'd do all the like antics in the background. I mean,
that's right. That's right.
This kid is awesome. He's so cute little ginger kid.
I think everybody enjoyed the little clip yesterday from Lady MAGA. And Lady MAGA, of course, is a drag queen. And Lady MAGA got all dressed up, full drag, to approach one of the Queers for Palestine weirdos to ask some basic questions about what that person is protesting for. And it went, as you might expect, it would. Oh, shoot. I forgot about this one. I forgot I had this really awesome one in here too. So before we get to Lady MAGA, this just cracked me up. This was one of my favorite videos that I saw on Twitter yesterday. This is obviously somebody that's hunting.
Fucking Democrats.
so great.
Even the deer know.
Even
Even
the deer.
the deer.
The deer, he's like, is that Robert De Niro? Who is that?
Okay, now it's time for Lady
Here
MAGA.
we go.
Sorry about that. Here she is.
So I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel?
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine. How do you react to that?
I didn't know that. So
It is illegal to be gay in Palestine. You are punished by prison or death.
Israel?
No, Israel has gay pride.
Oh my
Israel
God.
is completely open to lesbian and gay people. Palestine puts them in prison or kills them. You weren't aware of that?
I was not aware of that, no.
Oh my God.
So that does pose an interesting aspect.
Have you seen
Really?
the Queers for Palestine movement? It's a very common movement, but I don't see any Muslims for Queer movements.
Yes. That's where it gets gray, right? Like, that's where I feel
Well,
like...
for me, it's not gray. I am fearful of Islam because there is no Islamic country on earth that embraces me as a gay man.
So, okay, so maybe I'm confused because Israel, which is still an Islam country, right?
No, Jewish.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So Israel's Jewish, Palestinians are Islamic.
Okay.
She said she went there. She said she studied there at the beginning of that video. Didn't she say she went there and spent
I
time
think she
there?
studied it. I don't know. Did she go? Oh my gosh.
I thought I heard that. Did I hear that right? She said she studied abroad, right, Carrie? Is that what she said?
Let me see.
I
Go back
feel
to the
like
beginning.
she said that. She said, I studied abroad. I did a study abroad
In the Middle East. She
with
probably went to
Israel.
it's somewhere else in the Middle East other than those two countries is what I'm
but
guessing.
if she was there, you think she would have learned some stuff.
Don't be silly. You know the state of education today.
Yeah, but she was there. I mean, how is
Yeah,
she?
but she was probably relying on a professor that took her there to
Oh
be
my
like, here's what you need to
God.
know.
Was she
I mean,
in a cave? I mean, good Lord. What a complete moron.
I know.
Oh my God.
And you have to give credit to Lady MAGA, who was like so kind in that whole exchange. You know what I mean? Just smiling and just so kind in the face of that level of idiocy.
Israel
Props
is
to Lady MAGA.
Israel is a Muslim country. What? Oh my God.
I know. They're so dumb. Mustang Sally, thank you so much. Mustang Sally says the worst Dems are getting old and can't fight much longer, and they are raising crybabies. This is a plus for our fighting back. That's a great point.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Now it's time for some schlongularity. And for today's schlong, we're going to talk about returning your freaking shopping cart at the grocery store. If you are a person who leaves your cart in the lot to just hit and bang up other cars because you're too freaking lazy to return it like 15 feet to the cart section, you suck. And I stand by that. I am judging you and you suck. There is a woman, a doctor of like clinical psychology or something in that realm, who decided inexplicably to brag about the fact that she does not return her shopping cart and she thinks she has a good reason for it. Here she is to tell you all about it.
I'm not returning my shopping cart. And you can judge me all you want.
Okay.
I'm not getting my groceries into my car, getting my children into the car, and then leaving them in the car to go return the cart. So if you're going to give me a dirty look, fuck off.
You think you're not going to get some attention from that kind of a post?
I mean, it's so was she expecting that she wasn't going to get attention? Because clearly she wants the attention.
She wants the attention.
She wants all of it. Look at her face. She wants all the attention.
Oh my God. She's so just
God.
just looking at her infuriates me.
Insufferable.
And so she's acting as though it's because she's got kids and she's not going to leave them in an unsafe position by putting them in the car and then having to walk a bunch to return a cart. How the hell did she get the cart in the first place if she's with her kids? So here's an idea. Your kids too, the way that you got the shopping cart together, you can all load the groceries in the car and you can all return the cart. This is not hard, you psychopath. So she got all kinds of backlash, like so much backlash. And she did this ridiculous follow-up.
It's May 31st, and about 6 million people have freaked out over me not returning my shopping cart because my kids are in the car. So I want to give you some statistics. Last year, 265 children were abducted in parking lots in America. Half of those were sexually assaulted.
Oh my God.
As a single mom,
Can you
returning
even?
your shopping cart, you are prime for a predator to watch and grab you. In many states, it's actually illegal to turn your car on and walk away. Many comments said that they would turn the car on, leave the air on for the kids, and go return the shopping cart. Well, in Los Angeles, in one particular parking lot, that's at least a 12-minute walk. You could go to jail. There are reports from the Bureau of Justice saying 10% of crimes occur in parking lots. If you get to a parking lot, you should look at the lighting. You should look at security guards. You should look at how the parking lot is laid out. If it feels safe, go return your cart. If it doesn't feel safe, trust your gut, trust your intuition, and keep you and your family safe. It's not worth the judgment you'll get. There are actual lawyers who specialize in parking lot crimes, and they sue the grocery stores. And guess what? I've been a part of those cases. So if you want to be ignorant, go ahead. But I also have videos on the mind of predators, pedophiles, and why child trafficking occurs and how victims are targeted. It's May 31st.
Can you even?
She probably votes Democrat too.
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
You know she does. And then she's talking about all the crime and how she can't return her cart. And she's part of the, you know she does. You know she probably votes Democrat. I could just tell. You know, she's one of those.
I mean,
and she lives in LA, you know?
Yeah. Well,
She's talking about LA.
I love the first comment, which is, it just says, "Hi, Dr. Leslie. You actually don't have to turn your car on or put your kids in there. They can actually return the car with you.
Right.
Hope this helps."
Yeah.
My
I
God.
mean, like what if my daughter's old enough now, she's 14, and I keep an eye on her, but I'm like, you return the cart. You return the cart. That's your job to return the cart, because the only people that don't return carts are assholes. And so that's your job now. You return the cart. And listen, I keep an eye on her because she's 14. But I mean, if somebody tries to snatch you, you know what to do too, because we've been through that as well. Is you fight. She knows how to deal with herself if that occurs. But I mean, if she was little, when she was little, that's what we would do. We would return the cart together.
I don't know why this is hard.
This is not hard. Why is this hard?
Oh my God. The fact that she made that first video, clearly, I mean, she was like, what could make me go viral today? And here we are contributing to it, because literally the world is talking about this.
Yeah. And
it has gotten so many views.
In the first one, she's wearing like $150 sweatshirt. She could probably order groceries online. Somebody made that point.
Or send her husband. I know she likes to talk about him, and because I watched some of her other videos, and she could that's what I do. I'm just like, I'm not even going to deal with any of that. You go.
The days where people didn't post all this crap online. You know what I mean?
Do remember those days.
Those were good days where people would just, do the things and not put every single thing that they do or every single gripe online. So they'd have 6 million people come at them in the comments and be like, I don't know why I'm getting all of this attention. Because you asked for it.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
One of our digital folks actually said, because when we were talking about this in the chat yesterday, she said, "Oh my gosh, there's an account, and it's very, very popular on TikTok, on YouTube, everywhere, called Cart Narcs. And this is literally this guy, or maybe several guys, I don't know, who go around looking in real time for people who are not putting their carts away, and then publicly shaming them and throwing these magnetic stickers on the top of their cars that alert everybody that this is somebody that leaves their shopping carts not put away."
Oh my God.
And so here's just one example. And again, there are zillions of these, and people get so mad.
Sir, what? Well, sir, do you need some help?
Yeah, you get the fuck away from me, you son of a bitch.
Why are you so mad all of a sudden? I blocked your attack.
Because you're a cocksucker, that's why.
Sir, now you know what you did, right?
I mean, that's not cool.
If you want to return your car, you don't have to be so angry.
Get away from me!
Sir, that was really a poor throw. I didn't even have to block that one. I've got these cool... They're like a boomerang, but it doesn't come back to me. It just sticks on lazy bones. All right, see if I can block this one. I see you're going to... Uh-oh, he's balling it up. Ha! Well,
People shouldn't be messing with other people's cars.
He's like,
How long are you gonna play this fucking game? Man?
until you take your car back.
Wait, get the fuck away.
Sir, would you like to take your car back? Can I have a kiss, please?
No.
Why not?
You know, punch in the face is what you're gonna get.
Don't do that. That's against the law. How about this? Since
So are you.
No, I'm not. I'll put one on the back here. So it's...
Stop it.
Sir?
Stop it right now.
You stop it.
Stop it right now.
You stop. I'll point my finger at you too, sir. But see, what I'm doing is I'm being nice. Why are you so angry?
Because you're an asshole.
But sir, the person who leaves their card out is a jerk. A jerk-faced lazy bones.
One more thing.
Then what?
Yeah,
Are you
I
going to
hate-
take your
I
card
hate
back
this.
this time? Well, you've learned your lesson?
I hate it.
No, I haven't.
Why not?
Because
you seem like you'd be a good dramatic actor. You're very emotional and engaged.
I'm not acting.
Well, I can tell that, unfortunately.
Don't even think about it, son of a bitch.
Why do you call me names? I'm calling you nice things. Like, I mean, I did say lazy bones. You're in neutral. Gotcha.
Yeah, you can tell like this is, and people are saying in the comments like this is, I hate this crap. Like these people are just trying to get like, I don't know, likes and stuff on social media, but so you can't do that crap in Texas. You just can't. You can't throw stuff.
He gets
on people's
himself
cars.
in quite a bit of trouble, but
Yeah,
I mean, he's
it's
not doing anything damaging. The
it's just
guy's leaving shopping cart is probably going to damage somebody else's car.
Yeah, but it's obnoxious. It's like you listen, judge people all you want and all that kind of stuff, but like it's just not cool to be throwing stuff on people's cars and parking lots. If somebody did that to me, I would be pissed too. I mean, granted, I return my cart, but if somebody was throwing something on my car, you don't get to do that. Like you don't get to do that. I don't like it. The guy is going to get hurt. Not okay. I don't like that crap.
I don't know how long he's been doing it, but there are a zillion videos, a zillion just like that. And everybody gets so mad.
And they should. Listen, I don't like it when people don't return their cars, but I don't like that either. I don't like that whole, I just don't like the whole like surprise tactic. I'm going to put something on your car and then videotape you thing. No, not okay. Just not okay. What is our world now?
Well, maybe the hope is that, and who knows, like I'd never heard of this account until our digital person told us about it. But like, maybe the goal is if there's a fear or threat of you being publicly shamed, maybe you'll think twice before leaving it. I don't know. I don't know what the strategy is, but I can only assume that
guy better not do that crap in Texas though, because it's not going to end well. There's going to be some old cowboy that's going to be not happy about that, and it's not going to end well. Is all I got to say. Plus,
yeah, and I don't know where he is. I have no idea.
Also, somebody mentioned that chick is a single mom, so her husband cannot help her with their shopping.
Is that for sure?
Yeah, she mentioned that in the video. She said something about I'm a single mom, which I got to tell you,
I thought she's talked about a husband in another video.
I don't know. It was she said something about being maybe she's not a single mom, or she was mentioning single moms, but it wouldn't surprise me if she is in fact a single mom.
Yeah, that would not surprise me at all.
Right.
At all. All right. It is time for your double D.
Okay. This video just reminded me of me and you. It's like, it always is it's a blessing to have a short friend or a shorter friend. And in this particular case, it reminded me of you. You are in fact the dachshund in this video. And I am the Labrador.
Oh no, the ball is stuck.
I can't get the ball, Mom. I can't get it. I'm coming, Daisy.
I'm coming. I got you.
I got it. That's Mock. Mock is the dachshund. I got it. I'm so happy. Normally, I would say that Mock is a golden retriever, but in this particular case, she is a dachshund. Mm-hmm.
I do have a height issue.
Not just a little bit. I think I'm shrinking in my old age, though. I do. Just a little bit.
All right. Now it is time for some My Pillow Toks. Don't forget to support Mike Lindell and support us in the process by getting yourself or something for a dad in your life.
Yes.
For Father's Day. There is so much stuff. And if you haven't gotten the man slides, they're still on mega sale, you guys, at mypillow.com/. I think we've shown this amazing Chihuahua before, but every time I see this little dog come up in my feed, I am amazed over and over again by this talent.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
Right?
I can't even do that.
How did they get him to do that?
That is remarkable.
It's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
I will never not be blown away by that. Also, you're going to need one of these little miniature horses.
Oh,
he's a house horse.
My gosh, she is so cute. I actually may need one of those.
I mean, don't you
He's
feel like
really
your dogs would get along with
cute.
them? They're very trainable.
I've seen miniature horses. Our neighbor has a miniature horse, and Dee Dee is her name. And Dee Dee is like 19 years old, and I always like go over and I see her and stuff like that. But that is like a miniature horse.
It's a house horse.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Super, super cute. Let's see. We also have, I still haven't done the challenge with my dog, with my husband, to see if you put your hands on top of one another, if the dog will add in.
Mm-hmm.
There's another challenge that you're just supposed to capture the reaction of your dog after you give them a kiss. So here is what this little fella did.
Oh my gosh. That's what Theo does.
Cute?
Theo does that too. Theo will do that, or he'll roll over on his back.
Yeah.
My guy's so sweet. It hurts. So sweet.
So precious. If you are, this is not just for Labradors, although the caption reads that this is anti-theft protection for Labradors. But if you have dogs who have a tendency to want to get food off of your countertop, there is a solution. And here it is.
Me? In love with you?
Oh my God.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. That would be a great Dane thing.
Look how disappointed they are.
That's a great Dane thing. I mean, Coda will just walk by and start licking the counters. Yeah.
Oh my God. I love that so much.
That's great.
Also, one time when my sister was dog sitting for Ella Dog, and that was at the same time that she had Gus, who is her like white pit bull mixed dog who looked a lot like Ella.
Yeah.
She put fake eyebrows on both of them, and we have pictures from that, and it's absolutely hilarious. And this reminded me of that.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
They all have eyebrows.
That is so cute. So
cute. And then lastly, we have Huskies because of course.
Of course, with the Huskies.
This is caught on the cam.
Oh no.
Leo! Leo! No!
She's screaming at him through the camera. And he's like, is that God? Who is that?
No!
That's a ghost. Oh my God.
They were so
freaking out. My husband, we have cameras at the front of our property, and the cows will start doing something naughty at the front, like to the gate, and my husband will scream at them. And they'll just
And it
go,
works?
Yeah, and they'll stop and they'll look around like, is that God? Like, who is that? Like, who's screaming at us? The cows will. It's so great. And I love watching their faces like, what is that? It's great to confuse cows.
my
Any
gosh.
sort of animal, it's great to confuse them. It's fun.
Love it.
You guys, we're bringing it in. We're bringing it in. It's Tuesday. Oh my gosh. We have 2 more days, you guys. 2 more days of this week. Remember, we're off on Friday.
And Monday.
So technically it's like Wednesday for us,
Yeah.
Just remember. So everybody enjoy your Tuesday, and we will see you tomorrow.